Today's feature match will be KiiVii versus LaPoire. KiiVii is the reigning Highlander of the KFPL and one of the nicest guys you could hope to play against. And his opponent is a first-time KFPL player and is always in season. It's LaPoire. So let's get to Muffins and the Baron as they take it away with their commentary.
And hello, and welcome to this KFPL match, week 1 in season 2. I'm Lots Muffins, and I am joined by Baron von Fabulous from Team Screech Bob. Hello.
Hello. Pleasure to be here. Very excited to see some excellent KeyForge action today.
Yes. So we're really hyped because, the Hamburg Atlanteans are such a prolific team, I guess, in the competitive scene, right? And KiiVii is the previous season 1 winner, as Jupiter so delightfully put it, the Highlander of season 1. And it's going to be a really hype game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hamburg Atlanteans is one of the kind of foremost teams of the KeyForge Premier League. I think they have 6 people in the tournament, which is the highest out of any team at all. Earlier this morning, we recorded one of their games, and a team just quality across the board, and as you can see by here, have some very high quality decks. I mean, when you've got 3 decks for a triad and not a single one is below 90 SAS, then you're doing pretty well. Is KiiVii here?
I mean, Callum from Screech Bob managed to do a bit of analysis for us, which I'm really grateful for, and he thinks that it's the highest average SAS lineup in the KFPL currently. Not that he's looked at everything, but it looks like it's the highest SAS lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, all 3 just look the kind of decks that you just see these kind of like deflate a bit in your chair and just go, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, it's very intimidating.
It is definitely. But his opponent, LaPoire from AFK, is no slouch either. So like 84, 86, and 86. Again, decks that are very powerful. But I think we'll start with KiiVii's deck and then move on to LaPoire second.
Yes, let's have a look. So we've got all 3 of KiiVii's decks here. The average is really high. I mean, I was under the assumption that the Hamburg Atlanteans lineups are going to be a bit diluted because there's so many of them. They're really stretching the depth of their bench in the league. But KiiVii seems to have made out all right on this.
You wonder if maybe they've kind of prioritized kind of like some players over others and have said, right, we're going to like give a couple of people our kind of best 3s to give them the best chance, rather than kind of spreading it out and like diluting it, like you say. But yeah, like you say, all 3 of these decks are fierce. I mean, I think the one that I'm drawn to immediately is, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Politiglia Conquistadis di Velo Difficile. And just because that is all 7 sins there.
It's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Very scary. And the 3 subject Kirby's as well has a huge amount of efficiency.
Indeed.
He can play those sins out of house, no problem.
Yep, transporter platform 2, just to flip that Kirby back, flip it back in again, with some upgrades to put on that and get a bit of Ember off too. Just crazy turns.
Monstrous. Callum very helpfully translated the name of this deck to Mash, Conqueror of Velo Difficile. So this is Mash. And I'm sure it will mash the opponent.
It will. I mean, I think the one thing to say is that the shadows here is good. It's got some nice cards in here, like kind of like your Ransacks and stuff like that. But like a safe house without a Rad Penny, not going to have to think only one Bonithing, of the Starlights and the Discs, like all-star houses, things you'd love to see in any deck. The shadows maybe not quite the level you expect, but still a nice house all the same. Mutant Cutpurse, of course, best card in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So got to be happy with that.
So next we've got Maestra della Rabbia del Kinsel.
I appreciate you taking on the pronunciation this time. Much obliged.
This is D. Kinsel, Teacher of Anger.
Teacher of Anger. And I think if I came against this, I'd be furious. This is kind of your classic Kota kind of rush deck here. You've got the double Dust Pixies, you've got the Nature's Calls, you've got the Hunting Witches for that Untamed Burst. You've got some nice shadows to kind of like push someone to check with miasmas, do a bit of stealing with your urchins. And you've got that logo just to push yourself through the deck. Double mothers, wild wormholes, phase shifts. It's nasty. And 18 Ember Pips.
It's
18.
crazy high. And there's a high chance as well of those hunting witches being put behind multiple shadow selves. So it's
Exactly.
really scary.
Yeah, I think nowadays many more ways to deal with kind of stuff behind a shadow stuff than there was in the Kota days. You've got a lot more like bounce effects, a lot more kind of destroyed effects knocking around. But I can imagine back in Kota, this deck would have been a monster and must have dominated any tournaments it was in at the time.
Yeah. One of the things it kind of lacks is board control, and that may be a problem against some of LaPoire's decks.
Yeah, I think you just got to hope to kind of like just get out there as fast as possible and just kind of like burn through and just get those keys. Another thing to note is no key cheat, which is kind of unusual for a deck, neither a Chota nor a key charge. So it's going to be relying on kind of getting that big blob of Ember, and is maybe going to be looking to ban any scaling M control. So like your instrumental graphs are too much to protect. I think you'd be very worried about if you had to play this deck.
So, moving on to Picard. Picard, Citizen of Carbon Reinforcement.
Yeah. And
it's got quite a scary chainbound record here. Not a single game dropped.
7-0. Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be one of my favorite deck. I am a big fan of Saurians. Saurians is probably one of my favorite houses, and it's a nice Saurian lineup. It's kind of every card that you just you don't want to see in a Saurians. You got that City State interest. You got 2 tributes just to keep taking massive chunks of Ember out of your opponent. You got things like Shricks to benefit from it. No Ludo, but 2 Scutums. So if you're putting that Ember on things, it's a high chance you're going to stop your opponent getting it back.
Yeah, very risk-free tributes there. And with the 2 Kirby's, there's a lot of very good actions in Untamed that can be used on it.
Yeah, I mean, one that my usual co-commentator Callum loves to do with a Kirby is come off the Kirby, Nature's Call to return the Kirby and a couple of other things you maybe fancy, and then play the Kirby again to play another action you just have in hand casually. It's really annoying when he does that. I don't like it at all. But there we go. Also, Kirby's Blaster as well, just to draw. So just brutality in Coplate is this deck.
Huge and really scary lineup there.
I think similar to previous deck, maybe the one thing it is lacking is again kind of a board clear. You've got that Quintrino Flux, which is a very circumstantial board clear. If your opponent's got quite a variety of different powers, you're going to struggle there a bit. And Nature's Call you can use, but with kind of like the advent of Mass Mutation, returning to hand is less effective than it used to be, with kind of like pips on being on things, a lot more really good play effects knocking around.
Yeah, still really scary in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, another actually interesting little synergy I've used in similar decks is Unsuspecting Prey, Ghost Hawk, and then Regrowth can be a really nice one.
Oh, that's
just reap with your Ghost Hawk, kill it, bring it back, reap with it again. Also, especially with a Song of the Wild 2, potential for some very, very large turns going down here.
Yeah, so much burst. They're all quite quick decks, really.
They are indeed, yeah.
So...
Probably look at LaPoire's decks, though, while we got the time. So
let's have a sneak peek, flick over to those. So,
interesting here. AOA rather than Kota is the first thing I would notice here. The much maligned set, but we are seeing the classic Brig combo coming out. Of course, it's Binate Rupture Interdimensional Graft.
You've got the ZYX Researcher as well, so you can archive it, do it again.
Yeah, and with stuff like your routine jobs is a very good thing to be able to archive too. If you want kind of like a Brenda Fanatic as well, if you've got like Life for a Life it, the next turn you may want to try and bring that back, be ready to play it again. There's another strong dude, just a lot of very strong plays to be taken advantage of here.
Okay. It's a very scary kind of AOA deck. What about the Dub C deck?
Which one? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
The Wells Clyde deck.
The Wells Clyde deck. Again, I'm a big fan of this. Saurian's favorite house. Love to see it. Similar to KiiVii Saurian deck, though, we do have a tribute and a lot of ways of getting Ember on things, but no ways of getting Ember off things in this case. The Imperial Forge does give you a benefit for it, but if you're tributing that Ember, there's a decent chance that eventually your opponent is going to get it back. You've also got a lot of KiiVii's decks with bounce effects, which I think it's unlikely we'll see this one being banned, to be honest. I think KiiVii's got good ways of dealing with this. But 4 E-dice, though, actually, I didn't even notice that initially, especially with an Instrumental Graph, that could get ugly.
Yeah, and it's just a huge amount of efficiency there.
Yeah, 19 efficiency, that's definitely the higher end. I think my highest deck I own is 20, so yeah, you're going to be reaming through this deck exceptionally quickly. And finally, we have H.I. Michel, Chancelier de la Discord, which is Chancellor of the Discord, I believe.
Bold claims.
Bold claims indeed. And I think first thing you've got to look at here is the Wild Bounty and the Fertility Chant. And that Fertility Chant does have an Amber enhancement on it. So you can get that combo that is 10 Ember from
look at that.
2 cards. Yeah, you got to give your opponent 2, but when you get 10 Ember, you can spare a little bit, right?
Yeah, and just 23 pips on cards is really, really silly. That's such a fast deck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and with 16 efficiency, you're going to be ripping through that quickly. And I think if we see some of these race decks not being banned, we could be seeing some exceptionally quick games here. You've got 2 very fast decks with very low Ember control, where both players are just going to be looking to play as many cards as possible and get out there as possible. And I think that's going to be a blisteringly fast game that I'm going to struggle very hard to keep up with, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, it's sure to be a really fun ride either way.
So if you were going to ban decks, Kate, what would you be banning here, do you think?
Okay, so looking at these decks, I'm not keen on the amount of creature control. So this silly amount of creatures and the efficiency of putting down all of these Kirby's is going to be so difficult for LaPoire to deal with, no matter what he picks to play. So this is probably the ban, the 7 Sins deck, MASH. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree, the 7 Sins deck. I'd maybe be tempted to ban the Saurian deck just because a lot of LaPoire's deck seems to be kind of relying on generating quite a lot of Ember, and they don't have the best board clears across the board, so you can potentially get that on those Saurians and not have a way to get it back. If I'm KiiVii, I think I'd have to ban the Worlds Collide deck. I think those 4 E-dies can really mess up a lot of the decks that I'm playing that are looking to generate Ember quickly and then just kind of forge keys, and without any key cheats, you could just get bogged down by those E-dies in a really difficult way to deal with.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very wild.
Yeah, this is going to be some wild, fast-paced KeyForge, and I, for one, cannot wait. It's been obviously we had a little bit of a break since the last KeyForge Premier League. We did a lot of commentary. We did a bit of commentary with the KeyForge Online team event in between, but I'm just really excited to get back in the hot seat, get back to watching some elite level KeyForge with some amazing players, and just seeing the kind of moves they can pull out. It's very rare you see a 90 SAS deck played, let alone you're going to see you see one with 3 90 SAS decks that they're going to play at least 2 of against 86 SAS decks. This is an incredible level of KeyForge we're going to see, and yeah.
An incredible level of players as well. I mean, KiiVii's really proved himself over the last year or so in competitive events. And it's just going to be amazing to see how this progresses. So we are now getting the bans.
Okay.
Which is exciting. So we'll see which of these decks are going to get played.
Let's see if either of us are going to be proved wrong, or if we'll be proved correct and smart, intelligent people.
Okay. Time to guess the bans in the audience. So put in your bets now. Let's see who's right. For the record, these once again are KiiVii's decks. And the other set is LaPoire's. So have a good look. See what you think you would ban.
So you have a ban for Picard here?
Yep, sensible. I mean, I know what you were saying about the amber capture, but he's got a high chance of getting those scutums. So is it worth? I don't feel like that's avoidable.
It's not. I think the thing with it is that you can potentially get a win with with Michelle, because you've got those Lost in the Woods to kind of like shuffle the Saurians back in, which is a really good one, like much better than say Nature's Call, because they're just like stuck in the deck for a little while. But I think assuming that say Montcart or the deck that I can't remember the name off the top of my head get banned, then you're going to really struggle to win against that deck with Montcart, and win against either deck with Montcart, to be honest. That would be my reasoning for it, I think.
So the translation of this middle deck is Captain Gravity, Miriam Aristotle.
That's such a good name. Captain Gravity sounds like an awesome superhero. I'd read that comic. That'd be dope. Oh, we do have the bans though.
Okay.
So LaPoire has banned Picard, and KiiVii has banned HI Michelle.
Ooh, okay. Okay, interesting. And we've got the first picks as well.
So we're going to be seeing the Chinese deck, Captain Gravity, is going to be played by LaPoire, and KiiVii is going to play Maestra de la Rabia di Kincil.
Excellent.
The game is currently being created. We're just waiting to see that being put together. And we're waiting with bated breath. So who's your pick for who's going to win this one, Kate? Who are you, after seeing the bans, after we now have the full information, who are you putting your money on?
So, given KiiVii's previous success in the KFPL, I kind of feel like KiiVii's the safe pick, right? Especially given the caliber of the decks that he's managed to assemble for this triad. I am really excited to see what LaPoire's got to bring to the party. Nice to see AFK getting some representation in this league.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the cool thing. We've got really like kind of international kind of flavour. You know, we've got French teams, we've got German teams, we've got English teams. You know, really representing all of European Keyforge. I think I'm going to be contrarian, going to go for the underdog and say LaPoire is going to take the win. I think that this Edai deck could do some real damage, and you know that fertility chant with Michelle was banned. I think Montcart that double by Net Rupture Brig could do some real damage. We do have the game up though, so LaPoire has made the game.
We are in the game.
Okay, I will join the game as well. As soon as I can find it. There we
go. Okay, so LaPoire is getting the first turn.
Indeed. And yep, LaPoire is on the bottom of the screen, I do believe.
In the Worlds Collide deck.
He is, yeah. And just letting them know we are good to go. As we see both players drawing their opening hands. Are we going to see a mulligan? So we can't see hands here, otherwise I'd be furiously theorizing over whether I would keep this hand, but we are going to see a mulligan from LaPoire, but not from KiiVii. Got to be happy with his opening hand. Let's see, has LaPoire got a better hand after that mulligan? Got to hope for his sake that he has. So looking at LaPoire's deck here, I'm trying to think opening plays. We see a Star Alliance here and see Commoff's a Kirby. Got to be happy with that.
Kirby into Golden Spiral, beautiful.
Especially turn one, so you may play a non-Star Alliance artifact, upgrade, or action card. That actually means that even though it's first turn, you still get to play that extra card. It overwrites the one card on your first turn rule. But oof, there's 3 logo squeaks you definitely want to see out early from KiiVii. Mother's getting some extra card draw, research Smoko to get an archive when it's destroyed. But we are going to see the first of 4 Edais out from LaPoire in a twin bottler mission, get a bit damage on that Novu and destroy that Smoko. Both players playing at a fair pace here. very sure of their turns. And I think both players getting off to pretty good starts as well. Getting that spiral down is always going to be a good thing to get early. Especially when KiiVii, I don't think, has any artifact control. So that Gone Spiral is down forever now.
He's got a gizmo, so potentially if that
gizmo,
hits, then he'll be able to get rid of that. But it's very contingent on him actually forging a key.
Yeah, which I think you can see that LaPoire has a lot of control over. You've got double Garcia, you've got 4 Edis, you've got 3 Retagalims. And that's 9 cards in this deck that can increase your key cost, but just by being played. That is crazy. And we are going to see that exactly here as 2 Sensor Chief Garcias are played, 2 Comos Kirby's.
Unfortunately, no actions to follow those up, but they are out there now.
They are indeed. Yeah, got to think that LaPoire's hand is full of creatures. Maybe it is some of those Retagalims we just spoke about. Who knows? And we've got to think, though, we've not seen any Untamed thus far from KiiVii. We're seeing some logos coming out. We're seeing some shadows coming out. Probably maybe like hoping to kind of angle towards getting a big Untamed turn off. But I think it's going to struggle in this deck, though, when you've got so many cards that increase KiiVii's key cost. I think it's going to be really difficult for him to get those forges off, because you're going to end up paying so much for them. You can have a big Untamed turn where you make kind of like 10, 12 Ember, but if you're then seeing LaPoire play down like 2 Retagalims or 2 Edis or 2 Sensor Chief Garcias and use all of that Ember from your big Untamed turn, you're in a bit of a sticky situation there.
Yeah, once that burst is completed, there's nothing else really to follow up. It's really good if you get the full value out of it, but it's looking really unlikely right now that KiiVii will be able to.
Yeah.
After having a think for a while, KiiVii does decide to go Untamed.
We do see the Untamed, yeah. And I think maybe it'd be interesting to see how much Untamed he plays here, because maybe taking more of like a sparing Untamed turn than he usually would. Like normally you'd be waiting a lot longer to kind of like build up a massive turn with Untamed and play everything. Maybe here KiiVii's thinking, well, playing a big Untamed turn doesn't actually benefit me as much as it usually would. I'm just going to kind of like play it out a bit more, kind of like normally here, and just kind of see if I can like sneak a key. I think we're probably going to see an Edi shuffled back in here, I would imagine. And we don't actually know. See the Edi left. We do see both Garcias shuffled back in, along with the Urchin and the Briar Grubbling. We see a logos here. Fights with the Edi burning the Witch, as is customary in Keyforge. If you see a Witch, you got to get rid of it. And the second Edi increasing KiiVii's key cost to 10 with 2 in the archive.
And a third.
A third as well. That's 50. This is what we mean, with only 3 cards in the archive, we're up to a 15 cost key for KiiVii here. And it's just kind of, he's not got the best way of removing these Edis either, really. You've got Lights Out, return them to hand, not ideal. You've got Lost in the Woods, put them back in the deck. Nature's Call, return them to hand. He's not got great ways of just saying, I would like to never see these Edis again, please.
So KiiVii's got quite a few good options to archive from his discard pile if he wants to do that with the Archaeologist. He may want to punt a couple of these Edis off the board instead. Oh, he's actually taken out Kirby.
Yeah. I think the Archaeologist, maybe archiving a Hunting Witch could be really good. Just storing it up for that big turn. Maybe archive a Regrowth actually would be even better, because then you're getting the Ember from the Regrowth as well as getting your Hunting Witch back. I could see that being done. Or like you say, just kind of like fighting an Edi off the board, trying to get that key cost down. Archive Lost in the Woods. Very interesting. I suppose just thinking the best thing to do is shuffle those Edis back into the deck. Really mean he has to, at least LaPoire has to redraw them then. It's not like a Nature's Call where he can kind of just replay them, and he's going to discard a Dimension Door as well. And a pretty fearsome board from both players here. I think LaPoire hasn't really made any Ember himself here. He's mostly been kind of dealing with what KiiVii's been putting down, but he's getting in a stronger and stronger position here. That reassembling automaton seems like it's going to stick around for a while. We are going to see the Kirby get a reap off. Get a fight, kills the Nova Archaeologist. Not wanting any more archive from the discard pile. And, Operations Officer Ishii. Oh, and puts the quadricord on the reassembling automaton. I didn't even notice that.
That is brutal.
That is huge. Really hard to get rid of an upgrade on a reassembling automaton. It's because I think the thing is for KiiVii, he's got the things like the Nature's Call, he's got the Lost in the Woods. So you're going to presume to see that reassembling automaton returned at some point. But it means it's one less thing you can use on those E-dies to kind of help deal with those. And one more E-die is going to have to leave around, which definitely isn't ideal. I think we might see a Logos turn here. I could see, say, maybe a fight with a Bat Drone into the weakened E-die, and then maybe run the Ganymede Archivist into an E-die, I could see. Just to kind of start trying to get rid of those and kind of open up the angles to get KiiVii a key.
Yeah, he's considering his options quite carefully.
Definitely is. I think very, very wisely here. There's a lot, with a hand of 7 cards, a lot of Logos cards on the board. There's a lot of angles to kind of be thinking through here. And we are going to see Logos. Okay. I would say, he normally be able to steal something with a Bat Drone, but can't here because LaPoire doesn't actually have any Ember to steal right now.
It's got nothing.
But I think he'll still probably be happy to use that Bat Drone just to kill the E-die and keep the Bat Drone alive with the skirmish. We're going to see a Vigor to heal the Mother, gets an extra Ember there because of healing 3 damage. And then, as we said, fighting down those E-dies. And we see KiiVii on check, despite all of this on the board.
Yeah.
Will he get to forge that key?
11 is such an expensive key.
It is, yeah. I suppose that's maybe the question if you're LaPoire is, do you let KiiVii forge this key and think, you know what, 11's a lot to pay to forge a key, it's getting Ember out of his pool, or do you just kind of go, no, I'm going to keep the key cost even higher, kind of be like, I say gamble, somewhat gamble. He is gambling here, he's played the Ret Galim. And I think maybe, LaPoire's just happy just to kind of like build up his board, get as many creatures down as possible, and just keep building that slowly until he can start getting to a position where he's comfortable. KiiVii's not going to forge a key for a very long time, and he can start building up as much Ember as possible.
Yeah, I don't really think this is much of a gamble at all. I think it was more of a gamble to not play down more creatures. Before there was a chance that maybe KiiVii could fight the Ishii and the E-die and then get rid of the reassembling automaton, right? But now there's just way too many targets. That quadricorder is here to stay, and it's going to get increasingly difficult to get rid of the E-die.
It really is, yeah. I mean, I think you're going to be looking at kind of things like a Lights Out, and it's just called, you still have Lost in the Woods in the archives. It's probably going to be the only way you really have to get rid of it, but even now it's got other things to deal with too. So like the Ret Galim can, say, reap twice with a Golden Spiral, make your key cost 12 through that. It's really target-rich environment, like you say.
And that reassembling automaton as well could go ham. With that many creatures down, there's no way it's going to die. He could exalt that like no tomorrow, and it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I think, as I say, the only thing with exalting the reassembling automaton is I can see this at some point in the near future being hit with a bounce effect, so like a Lights Out or a Nature's Call. And we see Wild Wormhole into the Dust Pixie. I don't think KiiVii would be too thrilled with that, to be honest. I don't. There's not really the turn he wants on. He wants to just like bounce that with, say, Nature's Calls, take advantage of this with a Hunting Witch. So yeah, I don't think he'll be too thrilled with that Wild Wormhole.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Maybe just kind of like now trying to think about, kind of recollect himself, think about what that means, if he's has to adjust any plays at all. as a result of what's just happened there. And we're going to see a Reap with Mother.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a fight with Bactra and maybe
Yeah.
knock that ward off Legacy of Raptor, I could see.
Yep, he will be able to get a steal out of that this time.
Exactly, he will, yeah. For not allowed to have any Ember. No Ember for you.
No.
But we see KiiVii on 17 Ember, key cost of 12 here.
Ooh.
As Saurian is the chosen house. God, I think we're going to see another Retagallum come down here. I mean, there is 3 in the deck, and there he is. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There is Centurion. And
Have to
is
see.
the-
I'm
And picks up
wondering if LaPoire is going to let him forge for 15.
I mean, I potentially
It would be disgusting.
it would, yeah. And we are going to see, yep, Reap the Retagallum with the Exalt to go to 15. Fights the Duskbeak, so he gets that into the discard. I think 15 is a lot of Ember to pay for your first key.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big down payment to be putting down on a house here.
But at the same time, LaPoire can pump it up even further. He could get up to 21.
He could, yeah, he could. He entirely could. And I think there's some logic to it in that, you know, although KiiVii has got Lights Out, he's got Nature's Call, he's got stuff like that, he can't get rid of everything. So you could kind of like feasibly say, I can probably make this even higher, but maybe just thinks 15's enough. I'm happy just to kind of let this drain away at this point and go. But no, could drive it even higher. Oh, and it hits the tribute as well. Oh,
This is
very
very silly. Oh, an Imperial Forge!
Hey, 0 Ember. LaPoire has his first key and 6 Ember on check. This is exactly the kind of thing I love to see Saurians doing, to be honest. Just stacking up Ember, making your keys cost a lot. And we are going to see the Lost in the Woods here. Now, what are we going to hit? I've got to think the Reassembling Automaton is an attractive target because it's just really hard to get rid of otherwise. But no, we're going to see Legatus Raptor and Theros Centurion gone just to get that Ember. 24 Ember in KiiVii's pool now. And we are going to see an Untamed turn to get up to 25. I have an inkling we're going to see a lot of Reaping with Retagallums here.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good plan. So
LaPoire on his second key, though.
So LaPoire would be able to get +9 on the Retagallums.
Yes,
unless
with the golden spiral, exactly. So up to 18, just a casual 18. You know, not much.
Yeah, and with the Reaping, he's easily on his way to the 3rd key.
He's going to go for Star Alliance, though.
Oh.
Sensitive Plus here is, of course, shuffled into the deck earlier with a Lost in the Woods. Psyos the Kinkin as well.
I'm getting that double taunt on the Retagallum.
Indeed. I suppose maybe just thinking, well, if I can let him forge for still 11, so still, you know, double the cost of a normal key, and maybe just happy to get even more things on the board. Kinkin not actually going to do anything here because all 3 of KiiVii's houses are currently on the board with the Safe Place, the Untamed Creatures, and the E-Die, and also the Reassembling Automaton. I'm just going to rearrange his battle line a bit more, get those taunts in even more advantageous positions. And yeah. And do you see it's a casual 11 cost key there, you know.
So KiiVii does manage to get his first key for a discounted 11 Amber.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think though LaPoire just in such a strong position here. Though, you know, you've got like a Star Alliance turn where you could got 5 creatures to reap with. You've got a Saurian turn where you've got 4 creatures to reap with, and kind of Golden Spiral to get even more. And Strange Gizmo and a Mother from KiiVii. That's not the turn you want to see here, I don't think.
No, this kind of forces LaPoire into a Saurian turn to make sure that the Gizmo doesn't go off.
Really does, yeah. This would be catastrophic for LaPoire because this would be his whole kind of like his whole board going on. And yeah, we only see that Theros Centurion come down.
all the way over here.
Running out of space on the battle line in my view here.
mine's already got a decent scroll bar.
Yeah, that's kind of what that's what I love. That's when I know a deck's going well for me, is when the scroll bar comes out. I'm like, yes, this is going well. And we are seeing that key cost increase up to 15, so no keys for KiiVii today. And we see some reaping here, some exalting toward the E-die and the Brutodon, and then we're going to reap again. Can't quite get up to 6 Ember there though for LaPoire.
No, it's just one shy. Perhaps if he'd exalted the Legatus Raptor, he'd be able to do it.
The only trouble with that is you would need to fight, and everything is too big for the Legatus Raptor to fight, because the Bride Grubbling has that hazardous 5.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
And we want to see Urchin steal one, safe place, putting an Ember onto there with Seeker Needle. Ghostly Hand to 14. And I think the thing here is that, you know, LaPoire needs to, I think, this turn, get into a position to forge and kind of like get here. I think it feels like KiiVii's starting to get a bit of impetus here and getting like up to that level where if he can get that second key and get that Strange Gizmo to go off, so much is going to be destroyed for LaPoire that it's going to be brutal to see. But we are going to see the Red Gallon Reap. Exalt up to 9. You know, just a little bit of Ember on that. Legatus Raptor, not much.
Casual amount of amber on him.
Yeah, casual 9 Amber. Although I think is some of it going on there because of the Ishii is, yes. So it's not all exalted. We see the concession there from KiiVii. And a bit of an upset here, you know, the champion, first game of the second season, and we see it go 1-0 to LaPoire in the early stages.
Yeah, that was a slow build-up for LaPoire there, but managed to kind of establish this dominant board that KiiVii didn't really have an answer for.
Yeah, I think there was excellent play as well at the start there from LaPoire. You know, he had like 4 or 5 turns where he basically didn't generate a single Ember, but was just sitting there, building a board, getting creatures out, getting artifacts out, getting what he needed out to just kind of like get a lock on the game and just start twisting until he got the win. And that's the kind of KiiVii I love to see. It's the kind of KiiVii I love to play. I'm a big fan of LaPoire's gameplay there. Really well done and really good to see.
So this means that LaPoire is going to switch on to his second deck, which is going to be, is it Montcart?
I believe it is Montcart. Yeah, that's the double Binate Rupture interdimensional graph deck. You gotta think that's going to be an interesting one to see. To see the deck we just play against. You know, when that is a very bursty kind of like Ember generating deck with things like a Binate Rupture and interdimensional graph could be very risky. And also looking at, we have Poltigi as well, which is of course the 7 Sins deck too. So 2 very spicy decks still to come.
Yes,
and
we'll see if KiiVii changes.
KiiVii's informed us the game is in fact up.
Okay.
So we will log on to that now. See can KiiVii stay in the matchup or will LaPoire bring it home? He's logging on now. Here we are. So has KiiVii changed deck here? Is he stuck with? He is stuck with Maestra della Rabbia di Kinsil. And I think that's interesting. I think this is definitely a deck that I'd say is a worse matchup to Montcart than his other decks. So I'm intrigued that he's chosen to stick with it. I would have maybe switched, but I'll defer to his better judgment, his knowledge of the decks, and kind of like presumably the practice matchups he's maybe played between these two in the build up to this matchup as well. And we do see KiiVii is going to be going first here. Are we going to see any mulligans coming out? And we do not. Both players happy with their opening hands. And we see, oh, Mother straight off the bat.
Mother.
Never going to be mad about that. And discards the graph, but gets this UX research to get it into the archives.
Oh, that's
is
fantastic.
Very nice. Both players got to be very happy with their opening turns there. Not a lot coming up hand for LaPoire, but getting that graph out and going to be able to hold it over KiiVii's head and go, I have this, and you can't do your big untamed turn now.
Yeah, this
You've
is
got to
really
play my
intimidating.
game.
KiiVii wanting to burst up on one big untamed turn. I mean, even if he just gets to check, this is horrifying because it's going to be an instant 6 amber swing towards LaPoire.
Indeed, it is. Yeah, and I mean, he obviously has to have the binate rupture first for that to be working. But with 2 in the deck, you've got to think he's going to be drawing around to that pretty quick. And he's also got a lot of ways in both Dis and Shadows to kind of slow KiiVii down. You've got the Miasmas in Shadows. You've got the routine jobs to bring the Fanatics. In Dis, you've got the Lash of Broken Dreams. You've got the Shulas, the Anguishers, with, like, say, Gongoozle as well to kind of get a bit damage, just to pump up that key cost and really just stop KiiVii being able to get those keys quickly, which is what I think he really wants to be doing with this deck.
We just got a question. KiiVii's deck does not have a key cheat. It's quite unusual for a Coat of Rush deck of this caliber not to have one.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing I was surprised about. I think I kind of said it in the deck chat, is that we're not having a key cheat, especially in these kind of matchups, and we kind of saw it in the previous matchup as well, means that if you had a key cheat, you could have said Nature's Called away all those E-dies in the early game and got your key off early for, say, 7. Without the key cheat, it meant you were just stuck with your key cost going up and up and up, and you building up more and more and more Ember, which was really difficult. And we're kind of seeing here KiiVii using Ghostly Hand to steal Ember, get Miasma. Not that LaPoire was forging anyway, and putting down a safe place, but KiiVii is now on check.
Thinking about how to proceed with the rest of his turn. It is particularly dangerous as the IG is archived. If LaPoire does have the binate rupture, it's going to be very difficult to kind of come back from.
Yeah, I think especially when there's not massive Ember control in KiiVii's deck. You've not got like a too much to protect or anything. We see the Swindle just to knock him off check. Oh, I didn't even register Swindle in LaPoire's deck for use like that, but that's very nice.
But this does now give KiiVii an opportunity to start stacking up some Amber on safe place, protect himself a little bit from the binate rupture.
That is very true. Yeah, I hadn't thought about safe place in that way, but yeah, because you can choose how much Ember to spend on safe place. So maybe he goes, right, I'm going to get Ember on safe place, stack up as much as possible, and I'm going to keep that. If he breaks me, cool. I'll keep 2-3 on safe place and limit how much Ember he can take from me. But yeah, back to the question about the key charge, and I think it is interesting. Like it is kind of a very glaring omission, I'd say, from this deck by KiiVii, and it's still like an incredibly strong deck. You're still seeing those to be able to generate those massive Ember turns with your Hunting Witches, your Dust Pixies, your Flaxias, but being able to then finish that off with a Nature's Call with a key charge that would just kind of push this deck into the stratosphere, definitely. See the Shadow Self come down here, an Urchin to get a steal, to steal one of those Ember back that was so rudely swindled away from KiiVii by LaPoire, and putting the Ember on safe place. Not quite getting back up to check, though, unfortunately.
And LaPoire's deck doesn't have any kind of artifact control that I can see, so really nice place for KiiVii to be saving that up.
No, the only thing I could think of in those houses would be a Snudge, but that's not present, so no, I don't believe it does.
No Poltergeist.
Indeed not. Yeah, I'm just checking on decks and keyboard. Yep, nothing in the Ember control. Absolute zip. But we are going to see Dis, going to see a Reap with Shula, plays the Anguish. And just some interesting turns here from LaPoire, because just not playing a lot at all here. I think you've seen like 2 or 3 turns now where he's only played a couple of cards.
Yes, so it's pretty clear at this point that he's holding something he doesn't want to use yet. So that should signal to KiiVii that he does have the brig in hand.
Yeah, I just looked through his turns. He's not played more than 2 cards on any one of his turns so far. Admittedly, one of them was a swindle, but yeah. You've got to assume he is holding that binate rupture and just lying in wait.
I mean, at this point, it's tempting for KiiVii to continue to call shadows. You can get some decent reaps in, put one on safe place. He's got options there, and he's gone untamed, so that spitballing is.
Yeah, and I wonder here, is he gonna risk it? Is he just thinking if he has it, he has it? If he doesn't, is he bluffing? Has LaPoire just been drawing terribly here, or is he actually holding a binate rupture right now? Maybe you do, with 24 cards left in the deck, maybe you do just take that risk and just go, you know what? If he has it, there's not much I can do in this deck to stop him, and I just kind of like go to like 6, for example, or 5 in this case, and just go, if you have it, do it. If you don't, then I'm just going to keep on playing my game. But we are just seeing the Witch of the Eye and the Ancient Bear coming down here.
Yeah, Witch of the Eye covered by the Shadow Self. So KiiVii is definitely going to get some kind of value out of that Witch of the Eye.
Exactly.
Lots of nice stuff in the discard that he can pick up. He can get the miasma back, which would be really useful.
Yeah, definitely. Also got a regrowth, which would be really helpful to get back to. And interesting, yeah, we're seeing the Hunting Witch played out of the usual order you expect from a Hunting Witch, but yeah, KiiVii just going to 6 here. And I think almost like, yeah, just kind of saying, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough to the binate rupture interdimensional graft play. Just going, if you've got it, you've got it. If I can't, like, you can't, I think he's just thinking, I can't play constantly in fear of this. I've just got to go for it.
I mean, the ZYX researcher is already on the board, so there's no threat of the ID coming back. It's just one use and then it's gone.
Exactly. We are going to see shadows here, so I think we're probably going to see him. Oh, we see the Whistling Darts, presumably to take out that Dust Pixie, and I forgot. I just get them mixed up with Throwing Stars.
Yeah,
just takes
me
out
too.
that Dust Pixie and that Urchin. See the Brend, the Fanatic, giving a note, and then the Life for a Life, knocking KiiVii off check once again, and getting LaPoire onto check. I think this has got to be the difficulty here for KiiVii as well, is that he's trying to like limit how effective that brig can be by like just going to check for 6 or 7. LaPoire has so many ways to then just make his keys cost more, kind of, or make his or steal enough him to knock him off check here. You know, I think KiiVii's trying to walk a tightrope with LaPoire constantly poking him with a stick and trying to shove him off, and at the moment, LaPoire's poking seems to be working.
Certainly presenting a difficult puzzle to KiiVii.
And we do see the logos. Wild Wormhole to play the phase shift.
So what options would help him with the phase shift?
I think maybe a Speed Sigil could be a good thing to get out, but I don't think it particularly helps, I guess. Is there anything to not... I guess a Miasma, if he's got the second one milling around, would be pretty good to get in this just to stop LaPoire getting the Forge. A Vigor, possibly to heal the Mother, but that puts him... only put him on 7 Ember, so not too devastating if he does hit that rig. I could see that being pretty handy. Maybe even a Lost in the Woods, shuffle away that Anguish. We're going to see Research Smoko fighting the Anguish, and then Mother finishing off, getting rid of that Shadow Self. Maybe place another Shadow Self next to the Witch of the Eye here to protect that. Could be another option with that phase shift. See, difficult to see, and we do see the Shadow Self
Yes.
coming out, and another Mother on the other side of that Shadow Self. So very good phase shift there, actually. Really protects two quite vital creatures. And once again, KiiVii is on check. LaPoire is going to forge his first key, though. And we are going to see Shadows. Whistling Darts again. Going to get rid of that Briar Grubbling. Easy for me to say. And oh, the Miasma. Stop KiiVii forging again.
Oh, KiiVii wasn't on check anyway, so...
He was with the safe place.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's it feels like every turn KiiVii has gone to check, and every turn LaPoire has had some answer to knock him off again. You've got to think that he's running out at this point. He does have 2 routine jobs left in the deck, and I think another Shula is left. But outside of that, I think you may just be forced to use that Brig play if he has it come hell or high water at this point.
Yeah, at this point, KiiVii is quite considerably behind. So
yeah.
He either bursts and then kind of baits LaPoire into the Brig play, or I don't see any other way that he can get past this. I think he has to do it.
Yeah. And I think that the difficulty here is, though, that now LaPoire is also allowed to get his first key. Suddenly, that Brig play becomes even more devastating, too. I mean, the other thing here is that if you're LaPoire at this point, you've got 4 Ember in your pool, you might just be thinking, you know what? If I Brig here, I'm doubling my Ember, I'm doubling his Ember, I'm going to end up on, what, I think 14 by that point, and I don't think KiiVii has a way of dealing with that. You might just think, you know what, now's the time to go for it, really. With the safe place, actually, it would be slightly less than that, but still be a considerable amount.
Yeah, I think KiiVii's deliberating here whether to take out the Urchin or pop some damage on one of the other creatures. Because I think there's are there 2 life for lives? No, it's just the one. So
just the one, yeah.
And
so
it's
the brand
in the discard, so it can't be branded again.
Can't, no. I think he has gone Goozle in oh, he's already used Gone Goozle, so yeah, can't even use that to kill the Brennick. I think that's the only other thing he has. Unless you can finagle it to use standardized testing on it. I think that's the only other way that LaPoire has of killing his own Brand. We are going to see the logos here, and we don't see the Binet Rupture, though, so it is going to be allowing KiiVii to forge.
But using one of the Amber on safe place.
Yes.
So that's depleting that resource.
It is, yeah.
But, KiiVii's made some progress here. This is good news for him.
That's a big dimension door as well.
Yeah, this is huge.
And I assume I'm going to go for the fight with the Bat Drone on maybe that ZYX researcher.
I don't know. I don't think he wants it to be reshuffled.
True.
But he does anyway.
But I guess maybe if you've got, like, say, a Lost in the Woods, and you don't want it like having maybe the only 2 creatures on the board is like that ZYX researcher and something else, so you're just happier to have it in the discard rather than go back in the deck. LaPoire doesn't seem to be getting through his deck all too quickly. And that Lash of Broken Dreams is quite big, actually. Being able to kind of like increase that key cost and make KiiVii now functionally has to have 9 Ember between safe place and his Ember pool to forge is going to make that Brig even more terrifying now.
And so LaPoire's deck has 2 Tesmals. One of those is on the board. So it is possible here to get a Tesmal pseudo-lock.
It is, yeah. I can see KiiVii probably killing this Tesmal in this turn by the looks of it. Yeah, he's using the Novi to find the Batrun to finish it off. But yeah, definitely Tesmal locking would have been a possibility there. It's the kind of thing where if you can just make someone play 1 house and they've not got any of that in their hand, then they're a bit screwed. But KiiVii there preventing that becoming a possibility. And I assume we'll reap with something here to get on a check.
He may want to get rid of the Shula because at this point you kind of want to reduce the value of a dis turn from LaPoire if he is going to stall KiiVii out as much as possible lashing. So potentially a good idea to maybe like ram the Archivist into the Shula.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. But so you've got to think here then. LaPoire didn't play the Brig when KiiVii was threatening. Well, forged his first key there. Does he just not have a Binate Rupture in hand then at this point?
Yeah, he got the ID very quickly, but I think he's done a good job of maybe trying to convince KiiVii that he did have it.
Yeah, I was definitely convinced, even if KiiVii wasn't. And we are going to see a dis turn here.
With the second Tesmal coming out.
Yeah. But unfortunately, his friend has already been brutally murdered by a cabal of robots and scientists. So we are going to see the Shula fight into that. Ganymede Archivist is a surprising one. I would have thought the Mother would have been a more attractive target, or the Nova Archaeologist. Ganymede Archivist is not the one that I would have gone for.
KiiVii's stacking up a decent archive now.
So yeah, maybe just looking to go for a big Untamed turn at some point. Possibly like just if he can get this second Keyforge, then he knows, okay, I can just go ham with an Untamed turn, and LaPoire's Brig does nothing at that point.
Callum has suggested that Cabal can be the word of the day.
Cabal seems like a great word of the day. I'm very happy with that. So I think this has been fantastic play from KiiVii here. You know, has been playing, like I said earlier, on a tightrope, knowing that potentially he has a Brig, like potentially that could end the game functioning for him. He's been playing around that, yet still advancing his board, still advancing his Ember total, still advancing the game excellently, and playing this very well. So this could be the crunch time, I think.
This is now the point, I think, where if LaPoire has the Binate Rupture, he just does it.
Oh, and he picks up the archive. You've got to think this is... There it is.
Yep, here we go.
Oh.
So that is 10 amber.
Yep.
On the Brig.
It is indeed.
Put LaPoire up to 11.
And see logos coming on out.
And this is all of this stuff that he was chained with.
Is this just curtains? Have we seen, the only thing I think here is you do have the miasma for KiiVii, and you have two of them. And can KiiVii get enough Ember in 2 turns playing only shadows to get this? Or we're just going to see the Untamed. This could work though, because LaPoire starts to forge 2 keys here. If KiiVii can just get enough Ember from just a massive Untamed turn, and LaPoire doesn't have any response to this, he can just still take this game.
Yeah, this is looking good. There is the miasma is in the discard pile.
The miasma's gone, yeah.
LaPoire potentially does have 1 or 2 routine jobs, but 11 is far too much to
11 is far too much. I think this is KiiVii's taking it.
Yeah, this burst is going to be way too much to deal with. Bounces the Flaxia, gets double off that. He's generated
and
18 amber.
See the concede from LaPoire. Excellent play by KiiVii there. You know, brilliant play by LaPoire too, though. You know, he was really kind of like putting KiiVii into corners, really forcing him to kind of make those decisions, and KiiVii just played that to perfection. I think there, you know, had a really difficult matchup and managed to take it. That was some wonderful Keyforge.
Yeah, beautiful to see.
It's very rare you'll see me cheering for a Kota Rush deck, but damn it, KiiVii's made me believe.
Yeah, really conservative play while the Brig was still threatening. Then stashes all of this burst. 18 amber burst. 18,
yeah. That's Luke. And I think he might have had even more there, to be honest, to play. I think the LaPoire just conceded, but, you know, he may have had even more in his hands. That is incredible.
That's great. So we're on to game 3. Which is really exciting. So we're going to have Montcart's AOA Brig deck versus the Seven Sins deck.
The Seven Sins.
So going back to this, MASH, the translation.
Conquistatriz de Velo Difícil. I think that's Conquistador of Velo, or Conqueror of Velo Difícil. Conqueror. I was close.
Of Velo Difícil.
We do have the link from LaPoire for the next game.
Let's.
If I leave the original game first, that usually helps not stop the wonderful TCO having panic.
I apologise for the window sound there.
Yeah, I just, as I say there again, just amazing play there from KiiVii. I fully expected LaPoire to take that in that game. It seemed like a really bad matchup, and it's excellent play. And yeah, now I'm going to see all 7 sins: desire, envy, greed, pride, sloth, and wrath, and gluttony. Nearly forgot him all together in one deck. Oh boy,
just brutal. Those triple Kirby's are going to be crazy.
Yep.
So, KiiVii gets to play first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll see all 7 sins on the board at once?
Oof, I think looking at it, there isn't that much creature control in Montcart. You've got a standardized testing, you've got a life for a life, but generally that's used more of a way of killing a Brend. So I think there's a chance. I think transport platform first turn.
One transport platform.
And no artifact control from LaPoire either. That's going to be sticking around.
So every Kirby is going to be going twice. Well, a Kirby is going to be going twice.
Yeah.
So guaranteed this is going to be so efficient for KiiVii.
Yeah, and a lot of creatures in this deck as well to be playing with that. I mean, that's 23 creatures in this deck, so you're probably going to be able to get a benefit out of that most of the time. To, when 2/3 of your deck just best part of are creatures. And LaPoire taking a little bit of time thinking about his turn, as I imagine he's just kind of going, no, why? Or at least that's what I'd be doing. Maybe he has more composure than me, which is why he's in the KiiVii Premier League and I'm not.
Maybe the non pourquoi.
And we see the Archimedes there. Always a good card to see. Which reminds me, as we are a combination of Team Archimedes and Team Screech Bomb, we've decided to call ourselves Screech Owl Commentaries.
We've got a logo and everything. I'm not going to show it to you, but we do have one.
Made by esteemed Microsoft Paint artist Callum Alasdair Young. And yeah, we do see that subject Kirby just being played twice with the transport platform as well as the blast shielding. You can see a boss Zarek and a bow nithing. Not the best time to see a bow nithing really, when the opponent has no ember.
But KiiVii does have a safe place and safe house rather. It is a safe house, indeed. Isn't it? So providing it sticks, he'll be able to. Callum put literally minutes of work. Envy has been gongoozled.
Envy. Gonna be much harder to see all 7 sins there, but I still believe.
Have we got a Stirring Grave or anything like that? No.
No.
Still hopefully cycle fast enough.
Yeah, we'll get through there quick enough. It'll be fine. It'll feel good. Oh dear. We're going to see Star Alliance here again. I imagine we're going to see a similar situation as last time, just transport platforming that Kirby, maybe with a Reap first. Playing some creatures.
Yeah, getting some embers. Getting rid of some of that shadow stuff. It's all about Star Alliance and the Dis.
It is indeed, yeah. And he's going to play that subject Kirby again. Playing that blast shielding again. And what delightful creatures are we going to see today? Suspense. I'm going to guess we're going to see a Mutant Cutburst. No, I was wrong.
Unfortunate.
Interestingly, capture the Ember on the subject Kirby there. I'm quite surprised. I suppose wanting to keep it elusive maybe because of the boss Zarek. But considering you're probably going to be bouncing that quite a bit with the transporter platform, I would have thought you'd want to put it on something else that wouldn't be bounced as much.
I guess it's weighing up the benefits, right? So, he gets an amber every time he bounces anyway. So it's weighing up the benefit versus just losing one amber, giving LaPoire one amber, because he's got nothing right now.
And we see the fight from the subject Kirby from the Anguish. I wonder if LaPoire has missed the elusive hit. No, we are going to see the banish.
Yeah, he missed it, I think.
Yeah, I think he did, unfortunately, there.
But
easy mistake to make, especially with effects like a Boss Zarek, where it's not the most common of cards, not one you really see all often. And we are going to see another subject Kirby. One from the archives. Same subject Kirby.
Yeah.
He was wearing a different hat. That's the way I didn't recognise him.
You'd managed to lose the blast shielding.
Yeah. That's why, before he was wearing that blast shielding, and now he's in completely different clothes. It's not my fault. It's
a cunning disguise.
Yeah, it was. Damn, Kirby's always disguising themselves.
So, we're going to see an out-of-house creature.
Yeah, we are indeed.
And the Scout Pete will be able to discard something off the top of the deck.
I'm going to guess we'll see Wrath. That's my guess. I think we'll see a Wrath today.
Oh, discards a Stealthster.
Interesting. I suppose, not really needing to draw that right now. Probably wants to get more out-of-house creatures. More maybe try to get a critical mass of Sins. Maybe get through some Shadows cards to get them out of the way, and just kind of happy to get stuff out of the way until you reach those kind of like really good targets like a Rad Penny and a Bone Ithing. I think I might have said earlier that there wasn't a Rad Penny in this deck, and I'm now realizing I think I just completely missed that there was a Rad Penny in this deck. So Safe House, really good.
Yeah, lots of good options for Safe House. Safe House Infernus, Safe House Bone Kniving. I think Z did.
Oh, we definitely heard the pronunciation. I think it was.
Z categorically proved that it was Kniving.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
Oh,
I swear I used to say Kniving, then started saying Nithing to change, and then found out that I was right, and now can't go back to saying Kniving anymore. It's a real tragedy of our modern times, to be honest. And obviously a routine job to steal one, and LaPoire is now on check. But plenty of ways for KiiVii to stop that being a thing. One thing you might even see here is, say, for example, if you got two subject Kirbys in hand, you could play a subject Kirby, play a Rad Penny, transport platform the Rad Penny, and play another subject Kirby to play it again. We are going to see Shadows instead.
Yep. The Gamgee will steal one.
Maybe a Rad Penny. I would anticipate we do see the Rad Penny. And a Perplexing Soft discards the Miasma.
That is big.
That's big. Miasma definitely really helpful for just keeping KiiVii from forging, giving LaPoire more time to get that Brig combo up and running, getting that out of the hand. Really big hit for Perplexing Sophistry there. And still not seen any Sins apart from that Envy going to the discard pile. I, for one, hope we'll see one soon. But KiiVii is on check here with 7. LaPoire, 2 cards in the archive, though. Does he have the Brig combo, and will he choose to play it here, or does he have a way to knock KiiVii off of check again?
Yeah, it's looking difficult with the Anguish gone and the Brend Life for Life combo gone.
Yeah, as well as Miasma too, having been discarded. I think, is there any other ways he has actually of dealing with that? And we do see the Brynate Rupture. And
going for the Brig now.
Yes, indeed.
Actually, we got the Brr, but have we got the Ig?
I've got to assume so. I can't believe that you double someone's key cost when they're at 7 if you don't have the Ig to take advantage. And we see a Reap from the Titan Librarian.
I mean, he's making me sweat a bit right now. I'm like, oh, does he actually have it?
The only like real like baller move I could see would be him having another Binary Rupture and being like, you know what? He's going to have 8 next. No, he does have
There it is.
5.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and he's going to go to 22 Ember casually. You know, not much. It's a bit. I was like, maybe it's a baller move, and he's going to like double it again next turn and be like, what? But no, he just had it. And yeah, you got to think that KiiVii there was kind of gambling a little bit and thinking, maybe he just doesn't have it. But unfortunately, LaPoire did have it, and 22 Ember is a lot to deal with. Does KiiVii have a way to deal with this?
So with the standardized testing out of the way, it's a pretty safe point for KiiVii to plop down all the sins on the board that he has. If he has Desire, then that will make it a little bit more difficult for LaPoire to get the full value out of that Brig combo.
It would be, yeah. Desire, is that the one that takes all your opponent's embers? If I remember
Desire's
right.
key cost.
Key cost, okay.
I think... I don't... Which one is it?
Yeah, so I was getting Desire and Envy mixed up. Yeah, because Envy is the one that captures all of your opponent's ember and actually...
Envy is the one that got discarded at the start of the game.
Yeah, and would have been really helpful in this scenario, actually.
Yeah.
I see. And we are going to see the Infernus thing, probably getting rid of that interdimensional graft, I imagine, just in case there's a cheeky ZYX researcher.
Probably take the IG and the miasma out.
Yeah, I think so.
Though I might be tempted by the routine job. Just to stop any future value out of that, because I don't know if LaPoire's going to reshuffle.
Yeah, and it's also like, without the graft, how useful actually is the Binate Rupture? And then, by extension, how useful is the miasma?
Yeah, so the miasma and the IG get taken out.
But yeah, and we do see LaPoire forge that key, though.
Oh my!
Oh god!
Oh, that's horrific. So LaPoire on 12 amber, Binite Ruptures up to 24.
Oh god!
KiiVii has no mass amber control.
No, he doesn't. You've got to think that's.
Oh, Shadow of Dis blanks out all of the sins.
Can't move all that ember off of his cards, which is 5 ember. Can't reap with a gap. Oh my, can't.
This is absolutely brutal.
I mean, I don't think he has a way back from this. This is... Because we all kind of only think of Binate Rupture in the terms of that Brig combo, but when you've got the amount of Ember LaPoire has, and when KiiVii doesn't have any of his own, you just got 12 Amber even without an interdimensional graft. And we see the concession from KiiVii.
Oh, it's game!
Oh my god.
That was horrible.
It was just the suddenness. It was just like...
Should we see if they want to do a post-game interview type thing?
Yeah, we certainly can do. I feel like after that, KiiVii might be less inclined to do one than LaPoire. It's going to be a bit of a body blow, but yeah, that'd be definitely be down for that, because that was... Oh...
Just see if they're up for it. Yeah. Oh, KiiVii didn't draw Desire.
No, I think definitely, and yeah, and we are hearing LaPoire would be down for that. But that's just the power of of that Binate Rupture instrumental graph combo, and it's the inevitability of it. I think sometimes is that at some point you just have to play into it and just be like, if he has it, he has it, and he can ruin my day, and maybe I can get lucky and he doesn't. And I think that's what KiiVii maybe did in this matchup, and unfortunately LaPoire had it and could take huge advantage of it.
Okay. Yeah, that was an astounding set of matches.
Yeah, it really was.
So let's call LaPoire now. I'm just going to call that group.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Okay.
And here we are. Hello.
Hey.
Congratulations.
The ending to that game was amazing. That was incredible.
Yeah, I was lucky to draw the 2 B8 in a row, and also at the start discard Envy, and because with my low creature control, I fear of that scenes combo like Envy and then Gluttony and then boom, out of the game.
Yeah, I was sad to see Gluttony so early. I would have loved to get the combo through, but yeah, Desire was also not in my hand to increase the key cost. I was hoping for that and to cheat or keep maybe, but yeah, Brig is pretty strong.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
incredible. I don't think it was something that we'd even considered, right? Once the Brig combo had gone off, we were completely forgetting about the second by Night Rupture.
Yeah, I was really scared. Without the second Rupture, I think we would have been in a fair game. I had the board and he had Infinite Ember, but I could have get him off the third key. But yeah, the second Brig was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Also, the I checked the chat, but also when you play slot and then pride and then gluttony, and you rip with the umbra, I think if you don't rip and you gain the umber of slot plus pride plus gluttony, so the second binate rupture move you to 6, and it's difficult for me to so you forge your second keys if I binate rupture again, and that was worst for me.
That's true. If I didn't use it, I wasn't thinking of the rupture in that like in that interaction. But that's true. Like I could have gotten my second key maybe, but even then, like I didn't have the burst in my hand because of the shadow of this. Because the one who gains me all the captured ember was disabled, so I wouldn't have gone to check for the third key, anyways. So
Yeah.
Tough game, but to the second game, like I was wondering because you at the start of the game you archived interdimensional graft, but you let me forge my first key.
Yeah,
was this intentional or did you just miss the safe place?
No binate. No, I I have archive graft early, but no binate rupture in hands. Just the turn after I leave you forge the first key, I draw binate, and so but after I was too late.
And I'm talking about your Worlds Collide deck, like the game before when I played the Kota race deck, and you played the Worlds Collide deck.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I think we're talking. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. You like at the start of your turn you no. Okay, never mind. I confused it. The AOA one was the one where you instantly archived the interdimensional graft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I think when we were watching it, we were both kind of like wondering whether you had the Bionet Rupture or not, because you were definitely playing like you did, and I think that was kind of like we were wondering like, is he bluffing or does he have it? Is he just kind of waiting for the perfect time? So
yeah,
yes, some poker things.
Exactly, yeah. So, kind of a question to both of you. What made you ban the decks that you chose to ban? Like, what was the kind of like big deciding factor?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I go first. I doubt about that was difficult to decide which one, the mass mutation or the world collide, but the world collide, yeah, the lot of board, the big Soyon, also the speed make me decide that the world collide was worth for any matchup that of my free deck, I mean. And I can, for my I think for a binate rupture standpoint, the quota and the mass mutation was possible to take, not the world collide.
And
yeah, for me, his mass mutation deck has triple Lost in the Woods, and also Savage Clash was pretty good board clear. So if he would have let me play my Worlds Collide deck with this big dinos with tons of captured Ember and exalting the Lost and have Imperial Skuntum, which can deny the Ember, but Lost in the Woods plays pretty good around it, and it also has lights out, so a lot of bouncing, which is pretty hurtful for the poor Saurians. And also it's just pretty fast with insane amounts of amber. Like his mass mutation deck has 23 printed amber and also like double Boona thing and stuff. So I was scared of that, and I think the other matchups would have been more chill for me. Like the first game was pretty crazy. We started with Kirby and Golden Spiral, and in testing we figured out that Spiral is pretty essential card because you then can use the return to pump me to 12 or 15. And yeah, seeing that turn one and then the Kirby and then the double Garcia, I was kind of scared. There was no winning there.
Yeah, because I think both two of your decks don't have the best artifact control. So yeah, I suppose kind of cards like Golden Spiral that are kind of like cards you're using every turn and getting really big effects from can be really troublesome in that kind of matchup.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, also the World Scholars of KiiVii have a lot of creature control, and the Kota and the Mass Mutation have less. So that was, for my World Collide, that was better also.
Okay, great. So did both of you have the decks that you expected to have banned, or were you kind of surprised when it came around the ones that you were getting to play?
No,
I
I
thought-
think I haven't, make the good choice for me.
I think I expected that you would ban my Mass Mutation deck because it has more board than the Saurian one, and the synths can be pretty scary. And yeah, therefore I thought you would ban my Mass Mutation deck. But yeah, turns out it was a good choice for you.
Okay, well that's great. Well, thank you very much to both of you for what was an excellent game. Like it was great kind of way to open up the KeyForge Premier League. Obviously, KiiVii, you're kind of coming back as champion. How did
But in a
it?
different format, right?
So in a different format, very true, very true. So is this a format that you kind of like prefer less than the first season then?
Yeah, that's true. My strengths are adaptive, and I also like survival. And Triad is I think is one of my least favorite competitive formats because you have to like you're always playing your second and third best deck, and I like the mind games about the ban, but besides that, it's considered to be the most pay to win format, and I can totally get behind that.
Fair enough. And LaPoire, what are your thoughts on the format?
I like Triad. I like also adaptive format, but I like Triad. That was my ticket. I take the ticket with the Triad qualifier. So, and after I was lucky to have a very good team who can share their deck. So we are two players from my team, and we have two good lineups. So I like Triad, and also the bind choice is something that is very interesting.
That was also a factor. Like my team also qualified multiple people. I think we are like 6 Hamburg Atlanteans in the KFPL for now. And we have a deck pool, but each player needs to play 3 decks. So 3 times 6, like 18 decks. And that's a lot.
Even for 6, that was difficult. So 18.
So obviously, LaPoire, you're from the kind of like French-speaking KeyForge community. Do you kind of like have the kind of your community behind you as well? Do you share decks with kind of the rest of that community, or is it kind of just within your team that you've been using the decks of?
Oh, please repeat. That was too fast for me.
Sorry about that. So I know for the UK scene, we had multiple people qualify, and as a kind of whole country, we've gotten behind them and kind of shared decks in that sense. Have you kind of like been using other players from your country's decks, or has it been solely decks from within your team?
Yeah, all the decks come from my teammates. We are like one team for all the French guys, so it's like a big team. So all the deck comes from my team. I think I have 3 deck from mine and 3 deck from my team.
Okay, wonderful.
For the 2 player.
Are you part of Team AFK?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great team. Like they're very competitive.
Okay, well that's wonderful. Thank you very much for an excellent game. Just brilliant KeyForge to see. It's really exciting to watch and commentate on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
And thanks for coming on and speaking to us as well. Really appreciate that, and it's been a really great time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and good luck in the rest of your games. Got 5 more weeks.
That was a super experience.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
So, there we have it. KiiVii versus LaPoire. Incredible set of games.
Indeed, it was. Yeah. So we obviously had the defending champion there in his first game, and we have. I'm not sure, is LaPoire a new player, or was he in the last one?
I think LaPoire is new to the league.
New to the league, exactly. So always wonderful to see, and that's kind of like what we love about KeyForge. It's a game where kind of like on its day, any deck can beat another deck, and I think we really saw that. We really saw some just excellently played games there.
And it's one of the great things about the league as well with the qualifiers is that you get these players who aren't necessarily super known, and these teams from different parts of the world, different language speaking communities, all kind of playing together and showing their stuff and showing like how robust the global community is.
Yeah, and especially in these kind of tough times that we're in, I don't want to bring the mood down by talking about it. It's kind of really nice to see that the KeyForge community can really rally around each other and put on events like this, and we can like have streams like this that you're putting together. That's amazing, Kate. So people, even though we can't play in person, we can still see elite level KeyForge. We can get that big tournament feel online by doing things like this, and that's really wonderful.
Yeah, and it's been a blast to stream this. So I think we're about ready to wrap it up for today.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everyone who came to hang out and watch. Thanks to KiiVii and LaPoire for letting us stream. Thanks, Lark, for joining me on this and doing all the commentary.
Not a problem. Always happy to do so. I very much like the sound of my own voice, so it's nice to not only have myself and my flatmate hear it. So that's great.
Okay, brilliant. So we'll wrap it up for today. Jupiter will be doing a wrap-up stream for the week tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST, and that will be on the KeyForge Premier League Twitch channel. So that will be the next thing to watch. Otherwise, there's going to be a few. Jupiter will be doing the wrap-up show with Z. There's also going to be some games going up on YouTube. I know that Baron Von Fabulous is going to be commentating one of the games that we recorded today.
Yes, so my teammate Tuck is going to be playing in a game. It's been recorded. I don't know the result yet. I've managed to. He's not been able to tell me either, which has been very difficult for us. But I'm planning on commentating that tomorrow. And me and Callum, my usual co-host, actually commentated a game this morning between two Hamburg Atlanteans. It was Irie Daly versus Lorenzo. That's currently up on our YouTube channel, which is Screech Bomb Commentaries. So if you want to go and watch that, really great game between two excellent players and a really interesting dynamic to see two teammates going against each other, clearly knowing each other's decks very well, and kind of like as a result, you see some very interesting tactical play within that.
Jupiter's just saying Vaft's and Dave Cordero's game will be up on Control the Week's channel. Yeah. So it'll all be in the wrap-up show. So we'll recap everything. All the links will be there. And it'll be good to see and find out who's playing who in week 2.
Exactly.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.